Hello everyone and welcome to the next video on this channel. My name is Peps and I welcome you to the next review of the G1 Climax series. We have day 12, another B-block day. We are once again in Osaka, and I would just say we jump straight into it because I don't have a lot of time today and I need to get it out before I'm recording another podcast. So check my socials if you want to find out on which podcast I am. It will be about Stardom. It will be about Marigold as well. So I will post on my Twitter at peps_wrestling. I will also have it in my description down below. And I would just say we jump into the first match of the B block of the day. It was Yoshihashi vs Konosuke Takeshita, with the winner being the first one to reach 10 points in the G1 Climax. Yes, no one has reached 10 points so far in the G1 before the show. So in the first 11 days, which is kind of surprising considering normally you have always like one runaway guy out of the gate, but this time you haven't. So it's between Konosuke Takeshita and Yoshihashi, surprisingly. And the match itself was like great. It was a Super B Yoshihashi style match. It follows like his exact formula with Takeshita working on top, Yoshihashi being the babyface. And I think Takeshita adapted well to this match. In general, I feel like Takeshita hasn't been fully going full all out, even though he has the great matches in the G1 Climax so far, because you are noticing that he's going deep into the tournament and he's saving a little bit for the final few matches that he's having. Like, he's working super slow at points here and try to save a bit of an energy, but he picks it up at the exact right moments to make something at least good out of it. Like, I haven't been a fan of like every match he has had in this G1 Climax so far, but I would be stupid to say that at least aren't 2 or 3, or maybe 4 matches even, like Gradukan, Zack, Jr., Shingo, Takagi, that one against Yoshihashi, that were at least really good in my opinion. There were multiple counters in this match, especially from Yoshihashi, that I really enjoyed. It was a Raging Fire attempt that Yoshihashi countered into a DDT. That was like phenomenal, one of the best counters in the entire G1 Climax. And in general, the counters and comeback sequences of Yoshihashi were great. Like, this is his pure strength, and that is why I am really happy that he decided to work a Yoshihashi match, because that is what he excels in. And Takeshita worked the counterpart really well. In the end, Takeshita then once again hit a high fly flow, wrong guy, hit the Raging Fire, and then barely got the win over Yoshihashi. Like, he needed to crawl to get the free count, and I really liked this match. Like, I thought this was really great. One of the best matches of both in the G1, in my opinion, so far. And with that, Takeshita is the first wrestler to get to 10 points. And he now faces Shota Umino in a really important tiebreaker match on the next show, like, because it can not only eliminate Shota Umino pretty much from the tournament, but also if Umino wins, then he has a tiebreaker over Takeshita heading into the final night, where both would be at 10 points. So that is something to look forward to. And then on the final night, Takeshita faces Renorita in a really important match, which seems to be a winner goes through type of situation. Meanwhile, Yoshihashi has El Phantasmo and Zack Jr. left, which seem to be the 2 losses for him. I don't think he will end up at 10 points. At least I would be shocked about that. But, you know, Yoshihashi has been surprised me a couple of times in this tournament. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins like one of them, especially if Zack Jr. isn't planned to go through, which could be the case if originally Gabe Kidd and Shota Umino and Takeshita were the 3 going through. Then we go on to Renorita versus Gradukan, a match between another 2 wrestlers that are at 8 points. So another wrestler will go to 10 points here. And Renorita attacks Gradukan before the bell even rang. And if do the stuff to follow up Renorita's legwork that he had in the preview tag on day 11, he just straight up goes for the leg of O'Connor's again. And O'Connor sorted well, in my opinion. I think, like, if I think about it, I think O'Khan has done maybe the best, or at least one of the best in the tournament this year in selling the damage he has taken throughout the tournament. His selling in every match has been at least really good. And here's this thing as well. O'Khan then started, of course, his comeback, got a submission, and then Kanemaru did his usual thing, rang the bell, which was enough of a distraction for Renorita to get another leg submission in. To be honest, the crowd did not care about any of this, which is common for Renorita matches, because if I get a nickel for every match Renorita had in G1 Climax, the crowd did not care about. I would get like 6 nickels, which is crazy because Renorita only had 6 matches G1 Climax so far. It's just not it. Like the leg work he has, I think the Kanemaru-ism fits him really well and he works it well enough, but the crowd just doesn't care about him. I don't know really how they want to fix this because it seems to be more of a Renorita problem than a House of Torture problem, because if you're watching Sonata or Evil matches, the crowd are really into them. But for Renorita, they aren't. Maybe they need to try to establish him a bit more. Maybe they don't buy him. I'm unsure really what the case is. Anyway, Gradukan was able to escape that leg attempt, leg bar, and then a push-up bar hit Gradukan at his leg again. And another distraction from Kanemaru, and he was once again back in the leg bar. This time he escaped it once more time, then went for the Iron Claw, but Ren once again got a submission in. But this time the bell rang again, but it was dangerous AAY, which was like a big part for me personally, that he did pretty much a Kanemaru spot. And of course, then we had some interferences with Kanemaru and Jay and everything, and it ended up with Gradukan getting the advantage. He hit the eliminator, but Ren dragged down the ref as well. Gradukan tried to hit another eliminator from the top rope shortly after, but Ren used the whiskey, a low blow, the double cross for a great near fall, and then he locked in one more time the leg lock that forced Gradukan to tap. With that, Renorita reaches 10 points. Gradukan is at 8 and about to be eliminated from the tournament because his next match is against Gabe Kidd, which he of course already forfeited, so he only has 1 match left, can only reach 10 points. Personally, I thought this was one of the better Renorita matches that G1 for so far. I think it wasn't like anything too good, but it was good enough. I think it was especially because Gradukan's performance in this was just great. He's really good in the G1 for so far. He sells everything really well. He put over Renorita nicely, and he is motivated as well on top. I don't know why, but it seems like, at least in the G1 Climax, he's trying a lot. I hope that catches fire outside of his G1. But really, I don't know if he's going to be, because we have saying this for like 2 or 3 years now. So with that, Renorita, of course, at 10 points. We will see how far he goes, because he has Shingo Takagi and Konosuke Takeshi left. He easily could lose both of them, but I think 1 win of the 2 and he's through to the next stage. Then we got Elephant House vs. Driller Maloney, and this is the match I'm least looking forward to on the card, because ELP is already out of the tournament, as well as just Driller Maloney just needing 1 win to catch up with Renorita and Takeshita. And it was pretty obvious that Elephant House was going to play spoiler in his last few matches, and he's going to beat Driller Maloney. And I hoped it wasn't going too long, but surprisingly, this was just a move spanning contest and nothing else. Like, nothing in this match was like anything of a story, anything. They just hit a few moves. ELP then wins after 2 CR2s, 1 CR3, and the Thunderkiss 96 in barely 5 minutes. It went like 5 minutes or 3 seconds to win the match. I don't really have much to say. Like, this was just a match where they tried to do stuff in under 5 minutes. It has no real story. It has like nothing. It felt like what I need to say. The moves Elephant has hit, even though they should have been brutal, they just looked like they had no impact at all. Like the CR2, CR3 just looked like a bad styles clash, in my opinion. The Thunderkiss was alright. Driller tried to hit multiple Driller killers, but there was like nothing from him as well. I don't really know what the goal here was. It felt like, okay, when either one of them is hurt, or like at least not really at 100% and wanted to save him for the final 2 matches, which I think is likely the case here. Or, which would be the funny reason Geto just thinks the match would have signed to just say, okay, do 5 minutes. But well, I really thought this match was totally fine for what it was. Then we go on already to the main event of the show. Yes, we are running through this card because there's like not much to say. We have Shingo Takagi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Shingo, of course, needs to win to stay really alive, while Zack Sabre Jr. needs to score important points to keep up with the first 2. As champion, of course, he wants to be the number 1 seed, and he would need to win this one to get there. That is their 7th singles match in the past 4 years and their 4th singles match in the past 12 months. They're kind of tired out of this matchup, but I was still invested to see, okay, will they try to come up with something new, or will this be the usual stuff? And spoiler alert, it was the usual stuff. It had a very slow beginning, which indicated it will go long, especially with the match before going shorter. And they went long. Like the first 10 minutes or so were typical grappling stuff. Then it picked slowly up the pace, and around the 50-minute mark, Zack Sabre Jr. hit the first Zack driver out of nowhere that didn't even go for a fall. And I feel like I've seen this exact sequence of counter, cut a Zack driver out of nowhere from Zack Sabre Jr. like 6 times in the tournament already. Shingo shortly after went for a Zack driver as well and hit then the Burning Dragon for a great near fall. Zack then came back with a Sabre driver with a great near fall and instantly transitioned into a leg bar, which Shingo barely escaped. In the end, then Zack tried to do a layer exchange, but he just quickly regretted it because he had one hell of a pumping bomber. The follow-up was a cool slap exchange. Like Zack's slaps have been phenomenal this tournament. And then that was ended with another pumping bomber with Shingo. Last of the Dragon attempt, he goes with a cover, but Zack counters it into a roll-up win and counts. The free count goes through, and he wins this match, goes to 10 points. Shingo stays at 6. And in my opinion, this was a really good main event match. Like, nothing too special. I would rank it at least one of the lower ones of Zack Sabre Jr.'s main events so far. But I feel like the 20-minute-ish mark matches for him are just perfect. Because he has his limp work or his technical style doesn't go too long, and he still picks up the pace at the right moment. I feel like he isn't built for the 30-minute match, even though he can have them against the right wrestlers. But I don't think the right wrestlers or the experienced wrestlers to keep him in style and help him to go through with his style are really in the promotion. Like, if we are going through his past big matches this year, I feel like most of them have been peaking at around the 23-minute mark. Like the Goto match, the first one, that was like one of the best matches of the tournament. One of the best matches, not of the tournament, of the year, where he lost IWGP World Championship to. That went like 20 minutes. I think the Ricochet match went like 20 minutes. Then, of course, the match against Finlay went like 20 minutes in G1 Climax. I think the only big match, long match that he had that I really enjoyed in the past few months was like the one against Goto at Tanahashi Jam. That went like 29 minutes or so. But Goto helped a lot to get Zack into the not too focused about the technical style. They had something else. And I think that is what I want to see moving forward from Zack outside of the G1 Climax when his matches go a bit long again. That he just, that the that the slap exchanges of him play a bigger part of his matches because they have been great so far. Shingo on the other side, of course, now has suffered another big loss, is at 6 points, but meanwhile, New Japan Commentary has said he's out of the tournament, but I don't think that is the case. We will come to that at the stats part. My overall thoughts on the show were that I wasn't really hyped coming into it, so I was really surprised. Like, Yoshihashi with Konosuke Takeshita in the main event were 2 really good matches. El Fantasma versus Drilla Maloney wasn't as offensive as I expected him to be, and I liked Renorita vs. Gradukan for what it was intended to be. So I would say overall it was one of the better B-Block nights, and I'm really happy with that. Then we jumped into the stats part. We have the B-Block. Konosuke Takeshita, Renorita, and Zack Sabre Jr. all tied at first place with 10 points. Then Drilla Maloney, Gradukan, Shota Umino, and Yoshihashi all at 8. El Fantasmo, Shingo Takagi are at 6, and of course Gabe Kidd at 0. For Shingo Takagi, like I said, New Japan Commentary has said he's out, but there is a scenario where Takeshita and Zack Sabre Jr. win out, and Shota Umino and Renorita are both stuck at 10 points, and of course Shota Umino Shingo Takagi wins his next 2 matches as well, so he would be at 10. Renorita would be at 10, Shota Umino would be at 10, and he would have both tiebreakers, and he would go through at the 3rd spot. How realistic that is, I don't know. I wouldn't count it out, but I think the realistic scenario just is that Shota Umino likely beats Takeshita, goes to 10, and then Takeshita, Renorita, Zack Sabre Jr., and Shota Umino make it up for themselves, like between those four. That's like my realistic prediction here. To come to the match times, we have a new leader with Zack Sabre Jr. at 2 hours, 1 minute, and 50 seconds, just 6 seconds ahead of Konosuke Takeshita with 2 hours, 1 minute, and 9 seconds. Then we have in the B block next, of course, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Gradukan, El Phantasmo, Sanada, Renorita, Julia Maloney, and in the end, Yoshihashi, still the only wrestler with under 1 hour match time. Personally, I think that both blocks have been delivering so far in one way or the other. I think A block has the more consistent nights. B blocks have the better peak matches, but also the higher lows. So overall, I would say coming into the final 4 days of each block, I would say we're happy with both tournaments in terms of what I expected. So we then have the next 2 shows coming up. The first one is on Tuesday, of course. First day, of course, the Hurricane Hall show. We have Taiji vs. Callum Newman, Evil vs. Bolton Oleg, Sanada vs. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yuya Omura vs. Jorge Oiwa, and the main event, David Fili vs. Yoda Tsuji. And then the show in Yokohama Budokan on the 8th. That is El Phantasmo vs. Yoshihashi, Zack Sabre Jr. vs. Julia Maloney, Shingo Takagi vs. Renorita, and in the main event, Konosuke Takeshita vs. Shota Umino. One hell of a main event, of course, that will be really interesting for the B block. And with that, I would say we are finished for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like and comment down below. Please, of course, check out my other reviews if you haven't already. And of course, check out my Twitter channel if you want to find out, where I am next. With that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like and comment down below. And I hope I see you next time on Thursday. Bye-bye.